Hi everyone, it's me again. Welcome to our corner where we are dedicating to visually impaired people. I'm sorry if you hear some barking and whining in the background. Well, we just happened to adopt a puppy 3 hours ago, so he's getting used to his new home. So hopefully he won't be bothering too much.
And hopefully you'll be able to hear us.
Yes. Well, Diego, I'll tell you the topic of today. Actually, it's a surprise for Diego. We'll talk about how it feels to be the sighted one in the couple. I'll make a little interview with you.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. Well, our story went like this. We fell in love. I was very healthy. I had my perfect sight, and then suddenly, at certain point, I started losing my sight. And obviously, I had it really tough because I was dealing with many things that had to do with losing the sight, emotionally. Also, I wasn't able to do things anymore, but it wasn't easy for Diego either. So today I will interview him a little bit so he shares how he is. I know we have some people in our audience that are right now in this situation also with their couples, so I hope it would be helpful for them.
I think it's very interesting that you will make this topic because I do think that, obviously most people focus on the visually impaired person,
Exactly.
but I don't think you don't see many places where you can get information about the sighted one, no, the person that lives with the disabled one. And I think it's interesting because it's also sometimes not easy, and for the sighted ones, and we have to learn things, and it's nice to know information.
Yes, and I think Diego, I think it happens because it already we already are missing many things for the people that are visually impaired, and that's just a step further, no? I mean, it's additional support, and unfortunately, even the experts don't think about people that are, no, the family members, for example, no.
Yeah.
So yes, you are kind of. I think you can be kind of lost in space.
You can, sorry to interrupt you, you can go to the internet and you can Google visually impaired groups, visually impaired support groups, and you find a lot, you know, and a lot of videos also on YouTube. But when you try to find, because I did this, you try to find information of the sighted one, no, being married to a visually impaired person, that trying to see about a group of people that their partners are or they're living with someone that's visually impaired, and there's not much around. But I did find some.
Okay. Well, I think Diego, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's the most difficult. I mean, one thing you lift and the other one you have to imagine. I think it's the toughest if you, for the sighted person, if you go through the process of losing sight. I think it would be easier in a way if you start being together with a person that is visually impaired but can handle very well their life. What do you think?
Oh, for sure, because we both had to learn. We both had to learn. We were like babies, so to speak, in this new world. We did not know how to do things. Unfortunately, we also did not have uh, the place, someone to tell us how to do things. And just one simple thing was walking. It was a nightmare for all of us.
Okay. Diego, how did you feel when I started losing my sight?
Oh, well, obviously I felt very bad, very um, what's the word? That you want to do something and you can't. Impotent.
Uh-huh.
Is that the right word? I'm not sure. Um,
Helpless?
Helpless. That's the word I'm looking for. I felt very, very helpless. It's like I wanted to do something. I wanted to help you, and I couldn't. And even more so because in your particular case, your way of being, when I wanted to talk to you, when I wanted to comfort you, when I wanted to know what you were going through and wanted you to talk to me about how you were feeling, you didn't. You, because that's not the way you are. So it was frustrating. It was frustrating, that whole process, and of
So
course
so
sad.
you were dealing with something that you didn't even know what exactly with because I wasn't able to give you, well, to share in that moment.
Exactly. exactly. I was lost, like you, because you were also lost. You
I
didn't.
was differently lost.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you? I'll ask you something very personal. I hope you won't get offended.
All right.
Have you ever thought of breaking up?
No, never, never, never. Um, I think you remember afterwards that I told you that to me it was terrible. Of course, what happened. It's a tragedy, but I feel that things happen in life and you just have to adapt and continue. That's just the way I see it, and that's what happened, and no, I never did.
So for example, there might have been some really tough moments, no?
Yes.
What what helped you? What did you do to be able to go through? What did you have any strategies? Did you have any thoughts that you would hold
You
on
mean
or
regarding your
when we were in these
impairment?
difficult moments? Yes.
Mm,
What would you do to survive emotionally or you think or
well, I guess I figured that you were going through a really, really, really hard time. I was going through a hard time, but yours was worse. So I couldn't, become depressed or I don't know, cry about the situation. And also we had our daughter, no, so we had to be strong. I had to try and deal with this. What did I used to do? I don't know. I guess honestly, I used to think that's just the way it is. Period. And we'll have to adapt to our new life. And honestly, and I told you this in the beginning, I went to one of these groups. I blogged the group of visually impaired people and the sighted one, no, the one
uh-huh.
that is living
Yes.
with one. And one person that was visually impaired said that what happens afterwards in the beginning is extremely difficult for everyone, but afterwards you enter what he called and what people call your new normal. And I remember that I once told you this, and you did
I
not
got
like that.
furious.
You did not like that at all. Meaning that you finally adapt to your new way of life,
But
and
what
everyone does, and it becomes normal.
could you describe what it means new normal for the ones that can't imagine? What does it mean?
Well, for example, after now we have adapted, and now you use your cane, and we have to give you something in your hand. For example, we can't signal something. No, we have to give it to you in your hand. Putting when we go out, putting your hand on my shoulder, me giving you some indications.
Okay, you're speaking about abilities, no? How to deal with a blind person. I had something else in mind. I don't know if you would agree with this. I think what happens is that the roles change a lot. For example, I think that you divide the activities differently, no? Because before I would do a lot. I would clean everything. I would be really fast. I would do many 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 things. And suddenly I was blocked. I mean, I ended up only washing the dishes, washing the clothes, hanging the clothes, and folding the clothes.
That's true. For example, sorry,
Uh-huh.
go ahead.
So temporary, we had to divide differently what the tasks, no? And then with the time when I started learning, I mean, when I came through the emotional process, then I was ready to learn to do things differently. And now we're again readjusting. No, I think I'm again. I'm again participating with more things because I'm learning little by little how to do things differently, and we are going to, according to your vocabulary, to a new normal, no?
Yes. But of course, there are some things that now I do that you used to do,
Yes.
or not that you used to do them, but you were probably going to do them, right?
Give
Because
some
maybe
examples.
maybe it
So.
was a task more for a mother than for a father.
Uh huh.
For example, clipping her nails,
Uh huh.
right?
Well, I can't do
Uh,
that because I don't want to hurt her, no?
exactly. So I always clip her nails. I always have to check her clothes to see if it's stained, and if it's stained, well, I'm the one that has to
Scrub it.
scrub and wash the clothes. Um, what else? The food. I was always the one cooking more, but that was because I liked cooking.
Exactly.
And in the end, thank God, because well, it's easier, of course, for a sighted person to cook than one that's not sighted.
But
So
in this area in particular, I'm participating more, and I think you will be cooking less again, less
that's
than
right,
me.
because of job reasons, right?
No, and because also, but I think I started liking cooking actually, believe it or not.
Yeah,
No,
yes,
even
I
though
know.
it's way more of an effort than before, but I'm enjoying cooking, so I really don't mind cooking, and you will be cooking less. What I'm trying to say that, well, the bad news is that when it's the most devastating, also for the sighted person, beside that emotional load, you will probably also have to participate more with the tasks unless you have any external help, no?
Exactly.
But with the time gets better when the person well gets back on their feet. I'm sure they will want to participate more, and well, you will be doing less things. And how what did you tell to yourself, or how did you handle the fact that I wasn't able to share anything? Not my fears, not my emotions. I didn't want to speak about the topic.
How did I deal with that?
What did you tell to yourself so you were able to live with that?
Honestly, nothing. I just figured that you didn't want to talk about it, and I accepted it. And if you remember, I didn't insist,
No.
and that was that. And that was that. You dealt with it the way you could deal with it in your head, your thoughts. I didn't know what was going through your mind. Something interesting is that Yana will be having a blog later on. You also write.
Yes.
You like to write articles.
Yes, I love doing that.
And of course, many of your articles now have to do with this situation of losing your eyesight
Exactly.
and visual impairment. And the very interesting thing that I told Yana, because right now you're not very good at using a computer, you really can't write it on your own yet. So you would speak, and I would write down what you were saying.
Exactly. You're my handsome secretary.
And I learned so much about what you were going through and what you were thinking and how you were feeling by listening to your articles and writing down.
I think it was
Because
kind of therapy for us, right?
yes, you did not share it. It was something revealing, hard sometimes, because I was listening to all these things that even though I knew you were going through, it's not the same to hearing the person actually
And
mention it.
to me it was great because I had to finally word some things, no? And it helps if you can word them so you can process them.
Exactly.
And I have, maybe I don't know, maybe I have a strange personality. I don't know because it's not my area. But when I'm in troubles or when I'm afraid, I have to find my way out. I'm not able to share it with anyone, not even with a person I love very much or trust. I have like endless trust, no, in you.
Yeah.
But I wasn't capable to do this. I had to first figure it out, and now whatever you ask me, no problem. But in between, I would only freak out and I would probably break down or cry, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to find the way out.
But I don't think you cried much, did you?
No, I didn't
In
actually.
in, in the whole process?
No,
I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna ask you a question that I don't even know. But did you ever cry
no,
for your loss?
no.
That's amazing. That's
Well, I
amazing.
still, believe it or not, I still think that one day I'll get my sight back. Well, there are many reasons, like there are many scientists working on different things, and if now they can transplant hearts, no, that before wasn't possible. Why wouldn't one day we all get our sight back? So that's one option. And then obviously there are miracles, and there are alternative treatments. So I haven't given up on my sight. Maybe that's why I never cried, because I think it's not forever. I think I'm only temporary
Right.
like this.
Excellent. That's the attitude. Do you have another question for me, or?
Are we running out of time?
Yeah. Well, we have a little time.
Okay. Well,
I would. Sorry. I would just like to mention to all the, what do you call them? The sighted one, maybe. That you have a partner that's visually impaired or someone that's visually impaired. Uh, Hang in there. It gets better. In the beginning, it's really complicated. It's very difficult. But remember that it's more difficult. It's more difficult for the person that's visually impaired. But It's also good, I think, to look for help sometimes in knowing how to deal with some issues. And that's why I looked for that blog. I looked for people because I didn't know how to handle some things. For example, when Yana didn't want to use her cane, and I was thinking, how can I get her to use the cane? I know it's important. I know it will change things for us, and
And what did you figure out, by the way?
nothing about that. Nothing, you know. But you just have to let, for example, regarding the cane, you have to let the person decide when they're ready to use it, and use it. You really can't pressure someone to use it. That's not right. But I think that's
I
it.
have one last question for this session for you. Did Okay, you couldn't ask me anything, but could you notice from my behavior something, or were there moments that you were calmed down because of what you noticed, or you had no clue what was
No,
going on
no.
inside
Of
me?
course, I knew when you were frustrated. I knew when you were angry. I knew when you were lost. You know, look of lost. You, yes, I could perceive it. Maybe not all the time, but yeah,
But were
at
there the
times.
moments that calmed you down, that you felt I was doing better while I
Yes,
was in the process of
yes,
was accepting the
yes, of course.
situation?
And one of those was the cane. The
Yeah.
cane was, oh my God, I was so happy. But anyway, we're out
That's
of
in
time,
the
Yana.
other video if you want to watch it. We already uploaded it, and it is the function and the acceptance white cane. Well, this time I will end it a little bit differently. Obviously, if you find the information useful, you can always give us a like, share it with whoever you think you would use it. I mean that it's in this kind of situation, or you just find it interesting to share it with someone. And you can subscribe to our channel to not miss any other further videos about this topic. But I would like to make a special invitation for the sighted people of um, visual impaired people. Please feel free to ask us any kind of questions, because there are not many resources about this, and we are through the hardest part. So I think we could help you out with our experience. I'm not saying we are experts on this, but at least you have one experience, and maybe you can take out something of this. See you here next Thursday. Bye.